Brother Blazis, are you there? Blazis, are you there? Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. Blazis, are you there? Okay. Brothers in Islam, you are all welcome to this final edition of Guild of Muslim Professionals 2020 Ramadan online weekend tafsir. We thank you all for participating so far in this online tafsir. The last 3 weeks, we've been having scholars coming to do tafsir for us online because obviously of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. That's why we are having this session to engage our members and the other most concerned Muslims as well to benefit from one of the most important ibadah in the month of Ramadan, and that is relating with Quran as much as possible and in different forms. We've been reciting Quran on our own, reading it on our own, but we also need to listen to scholars to do exegesis of some of those verses or surahs that we have been reading and memorizing on our own. And that is why today we have Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf, who is an associate professor of insurance and actuarial from the Insurance and Actuarial Science Department, an expert in Islamic finance, and a renowned Islamic scholar in Nigeria and world over, and is one of the imams of University of Lagos Muslim Community. And for those of us that were here yesterday, you understand they started the topic with us on how we relate with our family, making the family works better in this period of global lockdown. We'll be talking about this in relation to Quran 66. Yesterday, he did the preamble of what he will be discussing with us today. And in the last session, indulgence that will be allowing Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf to take 1 hour today. Then we'll have 15 to 20 minutes for questions. Okay. So Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf, Bismillah. Doctor, you are on. Dr. Tajuddin, you are on.
Naam, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, you can start, sir.
But your voice is very low here. Can you hear me properly?
Very well. Can our brothers and sisters?
Okay, that's good.
You heard?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahabatihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All praise due to Almighty Allah. May His peace and blessings continue to abide in the Prophet, his companions and followers, and all those who are following His sunnah to the day of judgment. Today, inshallah, we want to conclude the lecture or the tafsir we started yesterday, and that is about making the family work in the wake of the pandemic. Yesterday, I was able to reveal or raise most of those issues that most families are coping with up till the time of the pandemic. And I'm trying to establish from that there's no perfect family. There's no family that is not having one issue or issues that they are coping, they are managing, they are coping with. And perhaps we may be better managers than ourselves. Some will be better managers of their problems. Some, they are able to manage it to the extent that you hardly can know that there are issues within that family. and some they are not able to, because it takes two to tango. The husband may think, yes, I've discovered a way out for us to be resolving our issues. The wife may not cooperate. If the wife does not cooperate, there's no way it's going to work. And it may sometimes be the wife that has devised a way of handling or managing their issues. The husband may not cooperate. But and that's why a verse in the Quran, I'm going to cite this verse in the Quran. This is Quran chapter 4, verse 128 and 129. Quran chapter 4, verse 128 and 129. What does Allah say? Allah says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Wa in imra'atun khafat min ba'liha nushuzan aw i'radan fala junaha alayhima an yusliha baynahuma sulha was-sulhu khair wa hudirat al-anfusu ash-shuh wa in tuhsinu wa tattaqu fa inna Allaha kana bima ta'maluna khabira wa lan tastati'u an ta'dilu bayna an-nisa' walau harastum فلا تميلوا كل الميل وتذروها كالمعلقة وإن تصلحوا وتتقوا فإن الله كان غفورا رحيما. In these two verses, Allah says, and if a woman fears cruelty or desertion on her husband's part, there is no sin on them both if they make terms of peace between themselves. Note those words. There is no sin on them both if they make terms of peace between themselves. And making peace is better. And women's souls are swayed by greed. But if you do good and have taqwa, verily, Allah is ever well acquainted with what you do. You will never be able to do perfect justice between wives, even if it is your ardent desire. So do not incline too much to one of them, so as to leave the other hanging. And if you do justice and do all that is right and have taqwa, then Allah is ever oft forgiving, most merciful. Now, what Allah is advising couples here is that they must always give room for compromise. They must make peace. And when you want to make peace, you must be ready to compromise. You must not be willing to take all your rights. You must try to give up some things, give up some rights, so that there can be peace in the house. You understand? And I mentioned yesterday one of the obstacles on the part of peace in homes is ego. You know, particularly if both couples, if the spouses are well educated and they are both career people, perhaps the husband is a director, the wife too is also a director, so there will be that ego thing will be playing out. You know, perhaps the husband may carry home the position in the office home. You know, everybody in the office are always trying to concede for him. That's Ogao. Ogao. I don't offend Ogao. So many husbands will carry it home and want the same way, and they want to be treated the same way by their wives. You know, so if the wife is trying to be to assert a right, you know, sometimes this will lead into problem because Oga is being used to other people conceding for him in the office, so he may carry it. And also the wife too, if she happens to be well placed in a place of work, where everybody, every man, even who are older than her, who are all begging, stooping down for her, she may carry it home and then be expecting the same from the husband. And that is why you have things that will be turning apart or falling apart. So we must, every couple, for the family to work, they must have terms of peace. Then those terms of peace, what will it entail? The first thing is the terms of peace must entail what are the issues that have been let's therefore identify the trouble spots, the areas where we used to disagree. That's number one. Two, let us decide who should we consult that will agree to the two of us. Let's decide on who do we consult. That if we cannot reach a settlement, that person's verdict is what we are going to both accept. So both of them must agree on this. So these two things are very, very important in terms of peace between all couples in a family setting. That who do we consult? What are the issues that we take outside? What are the issues we resolve within ourselves? And if we cannot reach a settlement, who do we consult? And we all agree. Like, many organizations, when they are doing any, when it's B2B, business to business deal, they want to say, okay, if there is any dispute, how do we resolve this dispute? Couples too must have the same setting, whereby we say, okay, if there are issues, there should be arbitration. We go into arbitration before we resort to court. We don't go to court firstly. Then we reach settlement through arbitration. So and that's what this verse of the Quran is saying, that there must be give and take. It says, making peace is better. Wasulu khair. Wasulu khair. This is a very important. I find these words of Allah very instructive. Sulu khair. Compromise is better. So don't always stand by your view, your point. I know I am the husband. I must have my way. You cannot give me instruction. The wife should not be saying, no, I'm your wife. I'm not your slave. All these things. It says, wasulu khair. The conciliation is better. Don't announce your issues, because you'll be announcing your issues to those who already have their own issues. You'll be announcing your issues to those who already have their issues that they are dealing with. Maybe they are better managers than you. So you are indirectly exposing your managerial incapability. You are exposing your managerial incapability if you and your wife or your husband cannot settle your issues until you take it outside. So that is very, very important. You see, that right you don't want to give to the other person. You may eventually get it on a platter of gold without any skirmishes. That says, when to sin, if you do good and after verily, Allah is ever well acquainted with what you do. He knows what you are giving up to have peace in the house. And you are also showing your children that issues must be settled. Don't make the children feel that when there's any issue, the parent will have to be shouting, father will pounce on mother, and they will be beating themselves, and we will just be shouting and crying besides them. No, you are destroying their lives by that. You are destroying their lives. So let your children be able to refer to the bond of love between the two of you in terms of settling your issues. That you don't have to resort to shouting match in the home anytime there are issues. Please, and then another thing is, if you can't manage your marital issues and you allow it to degenerate to the point of divorce, you are adding more to the problem of the woman. You are not solving the problem of the woman. Because there are many women out there who are divorcees. That's the problem for the woman. There are many women out there who are either widows or their husband they are just hanging. Many women are hanging. And that's why Allah is saying in the next verse that you see, you will never be able to do perfect justice between wives, even if it is your ardent desire to do so. So do not incline too much to one of them so as to leave the other hanging. There are many women who are hanging. I must tell you this. Many women are hanging there, hanging in the sense that she's neither divorced nor a full-time housewife. Why? They will say separated. I mean, in Islam, there's nothing called separated. That is, you are giving her hanging. Every woman must know what is her case, what is her status. You must be able to identify the status. Allah does not want a woman to be separated from her wife or the husband to be separated from her wife, because you'll be leaving her hanging. Let everybody's status be determined. It's very important, you know. And Rasulullah who had more than one wife, he will say anytime he was dealing with his wives, "Ada kiss me, fimo amliku, wala talumuni fimo tamliku wala amliku." Oh Allah, I've tried my best. This is within what I can control. But I cannot control my heart in terms of who do I love better. You understand? So, oh Allah, don't punish me for what I don't have control over, that you alone has control over. So Allah says, don't leave your women hanging. When to slehu, if you bring about reconciliation and you fear Allah, know that Allah is all forgiving, merciful. And then, but if it is only if all efforts are failed, and it is very apparent and glaringly visible to everybody that no, this marriage can no longer go on. A lot of the marriage has been soiled from different angles. That's the best thing for the couples is for them to go their separate way. Then Allah says, وَيَتَفَرَّقَ يُغْنِي اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِنْ سَعْتِهِ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ وَاسِعًا حَكِيمًا. But if they separate by divorce, Allah will provide abundance for every one of them from His bounty, and Allah is ever all sufficient for His creatures' needs and all wise. So what Allah is saying there is that you can, if all efforts to reconciliation have failed, then if divorce is the only option for the two of them, then it can be. But He already told us, wasulu khair, reconciliation is better, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, "At-talaq abghadul halal inda Allah," the worst, odious, permissible thing before Allah. So it's permissible in Islam, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want it to happen. But if that's the only way for the two of them to breathe a sigh of relief, so let it be. Now, I mentioned some issues yesterday that could cause problem. And I think this time of pandemic, whereby the husband is staying more at home, we should look at them. The first one is spiritual compatibility. Now, if the couples have what I call spiritual incompatibility, meaning that either the wife or the husband is finding the other person not compatible with him spiritually in terms of recourse to permissible solution. You know, some women, because they have child birth delay, they want to resort to visiting herbal doctors, herbalists, and stuff like that, or could be afar, or could be whatever. And the husband is saying, no, I don't believe in that. Go to the hospital, go and meet our family doctor. But the wife feels, no, it's my life, I must go this. No, we shouldn't go that way. The wife should gradual process and supplication. You should be trying to win over your wife persuasively, and also be praying to Almighty Allah, where Allah says, رَبَّنَا أَبْلَانَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. That is Quran chapter 25, verse 74. Allah is saying that, and those who say, our Lord, bestow on us from our wives and our offspring the comfort of our eyes, and make us leaders of those who have taqwa. So that prayer is very, very important. Gradual process. Talk to her, give her reasons why visiting, so that you both can be spiritually compatible. You can always call on Almighty Allah to solve your problems, and you do it legitimately. The second issue that we should also look at is, now that there's lockdown, nobody is going out, then you will be forced now to observe all your salat, whether obligatory, whether sunnah, at home. That's good. It brings the bond. It promotes that bond. And after every prayer, either of you should pray, supplicate for the other person to be saying Amen. The husband will pray sometimes, the wife will also pray. Then you also ask children also to pray. Let the children learn how to pray. Teach them what they should be asking for. You understand? And you should also pray for peace in your own front, that Shaitan does not have influence over you. But because if either of you is doing his own salat separately, you know what is it? Shaitan is stronger. Shaitan al-wa'id aqwa. Shaitan is stronger on an individual, but weaker on two. And so the more you do things together, the more Shaitan cannot penetrate you, and your love will be promoted. The third one is ego. Ego. We should fight ego in the family household. You see, women, we are fond of something, always having our ways in the house, on our wives, on our children. This is what I want in my house. Yes, but sometimes a reasonable man should not always take his wife for granted. Sometimes you allow her to have her way. It doesn't demean you as the man. Ego can be pushing some mess on that until, no, why should I listen to a woman? Sometimes you listen to her and you had your own to it, but our suggestion would be the most significant in your final decision. And the last says, have you seen him who has taken as his God his own vain desire? So Allah is asking in chapter 25, verse 43, that do not make your soul ego, do not allow ego. Wife too should not allow ego to dominate in their relationship with their partner. If the wife obeys, though you are more educated than your husband, if you obey her, you are only seeking for Allah's blessing on yourself and your children. So you must learn that. Then about our child expectation. Now that you are together, you must know that it's only Allah that brings a child. We can enjoy copulation, but it is Allah that will say, "Come fire come to it." So let's wait on Allah. While we are pursuing permissible ways for solution, you do all sorts of tests, laboratory tests, so that we know who is at fault, who has issues. Sometimes it's not the wife that has issue. Sometimes it is the husband that has issue. We must address these things. And the last is, and if you decide to make both of you childless, it's part of his prerogative. It's part of the right of Allah. Allah is exercising his prerogative on us. So that shouldn't make us to hate one another or to dislike one another. We should say that Rasulullah had a wife, Aisha, the only woman he married as a virgin. She never had any issue from morning till night. For once, no miscarriage. And they were together for 18 years. For 9 years. Aisha was with Rasulullah for 9 years. She never conceived. So are you purer than Aisha? Or are you purer than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So we should see that as one of those things. It should rather, there's nothing wrong in you, the man, marrying another wife. There's nothing wrong in that. Allah may use that as a stepping stone for the first wife to have a child. We have seen that a lot. It happened in the era of the Prophet of Allah, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. It was Hajar, the woman she married second, that gave birth before Sarah will have Isaac. So that's the lesson for us. And as Muslims, the issue of childlessness or child expectation should not cause disruption in our marital vow. Then, how do we bring up our children? Can also be another issue. Sometimes the father can be a disciplinarian, very strict, and the mother can be a bit mild, tolerant, and this sometimes can lead to problems between the two of them. Or it could be vice versa. It could be the mother that is a strict, is a disciplinarian, and the father is that area. We must very, very be careful. We must not let it cause dissension between the two of us. Most of the time, it is always advisable that both of you should guide your children with one voice. You should guide your children with one voice. If the husband is too strict, the wife should try to assist your husband in privacy, not in the presence of the children, to solve that problem. Oh, dear, you are too strict, you are too harsh. Why don't you reduce it a bit, your style? So the husband should listen to the wife, or you convince her that the step you are taking is the right step. And it could be the other way too. Mama may be very strict. So if the husband finds that your wife is stricter than you in terms of bringing up the children, and it is not or go well, the wife should either convince you that that is the best way, or you try to convince her that she should lower the measure. And then Allah says sometimes our children can be the source of trial for us, like in Surah Al-Kahf, chapter 18, verse 80. Allah is talking about those boys, the boy that was killed, that Khidr killed. Allah says, "Kana bawai mu'minain fa'ashina an yuriqahuma tubyanan wa kufra." Allah says, and as for the boy, his parents were believers, and we fear he will oppress them by rebellion and disbelief. That's why we took him away. Allah decided to take him away because the parents were believers, so they lost their children, they lost their child. So if you lose your child, sometimes it may be a saving grace for you. Allah might be preventing a future catastrophe in your household. So let's take solace in that. Then there could be financial incapability of husband. The husband is finding it difficult to cater for the wife, and the wife is now changing in her ways, complaining, grumbling, and if the husband now asks for sex, you deny him because he's not doing well financially, he's not giving you the money you need to cater for the house. You are the only one. You have been spending all your money, you have been spending your savings on the family, and the husband is asking for sex every time. No. You have to be like Khadija radiallahu anha. Khadija radiallahu anha was richer than the Prophet. And Allah in Quran chapter 16, verse 71 says, and Allah honored some of you over others with wealth and properties. Then those who are so honored will by no means hand over their wealth and properties to those whom their right hand possess, so that they may be equal with them in that. So they then deny the favor of Allah. Do they then deny the favor of Allah? You see, you can be richer than your husband. That's not a big news. That's not a big news. You can be richer than your husband, yes. But don't let it. It's a try from Allah. Allah wants to try you. Realize that. So don't let that affect your submission to your husband. Don't allow that to get into your head, and then you deny your husband is right. The Prophet ﷺ said, إذا دعا الرجل امرأته إلى فراشه فهابت عليه لعنتها الملائكة hatta tusbih. If a man invites his wife to his bed one day and the woman refuses, the angels will be cursing her till daybreak. So please, we don't want to be cursed by the angels. So try and make sure you give in to your husband. You can discuss the manner, the rate which you having sex. Should we be having sex every other day? Should we be having sex once in a week? Or if both of you is acceptable both of you, you can have it once in a month. So you need to agree on that. You don't say because your husband is not satisfying you economically or financially, you deny him. Another issue is the husbands who are very stingy. There are some husbands who are very stingy. Now it's time for us to address this issue. So please, whatever you spend in good, it is for yourself. When you spend not except seeking Allah's face. You see, ọmọ fi kùn mí ṣe ń falẹ̀ àǹfóṣìkùn. Ọmọ fi láti gbé àdìgbò wá nílẹ̀. Ọmọ fi kùn mí ṣe ń yíwá fàyèlé wá nítorí àtìlámù. That's Quran chapter 2, verse 272. And whatever you spend on your family, don't think it is just a waste of money. It is a saving for yourself. You are saving it till Yamal Kiyama. You will get the reward from Allah. Even the morsel, the spoon of food you put in our mouth, it is sadaqah before Allah. So please, men, stop being stingy. Spend on your wife. That's your first priority. Your wife, your children. Those are those that Allah will ask you, and Allah has put you in charge. So some they will not be spending on their family, but they will rather take people to eateries and spend and lavish money on them. So please, we should address this when we are trying to make things work in the family. Then the issue of parental influence, our in-laws. Please, let us respect our in-laws. The husband should make sure that your wife is taking care of her parents. Remind her, support her, make it easy. The wife too should also ask, dear, when last did you see your mom? Let's go and visit them. I want to go. I want to buy some stuff for them. You know, I know you too. But it's your wife who planned it. But you know you are going to spend the money. So just spend it. So because if both parents are happy with you, they will be happy, they will give them rest of mind. Certainly you don't want your parents to be agonizing in their old age because you are not getting your marriage right. Please, these women, they've tried enough for us. These are our parents, they've tried enough for us. We shouldn't be on their old age with our Islam that they will be solving agony in respect of our not getting our marriages to work, our family to work. Please, let us make sure that we don't put our parents in agony, in trauma that we are not getting it right. They will still see us as their kids. We are still their babies. So please, let's put them in their places. Let's respect them. Let's visit them. Let's make them happy about us. Then another issue that couples might be finding tough is the efficiency in cooking to the satisfaction of the husband. Well, some women are better at this thing than the others. Some women are so good in the kitchen that, in fact, that is one reason that is sustaining the marriages. But there could be cases where the husband does not appreciate the cooking of our wife. You must try to show appreciation to your wife. She's sweating in the kitchen. Sometimes you give her a pin hand. Sometimes you assist her and you help her. You know how best you help her by finishing the food she puts on your table. Don't leave it. Women, I think most women don't like food to be remnants to remain on the plate. For them, it is a sign of love. If you leave remnants on the plate, that shows the food is not sweet. That's how the woman will feel, and it can make women to be depressed. So please help your wife. You understand? And your wife may not be good at in the kitchen. Why don't you send her to some cooking schools? Where they learn how to cook. Yes, it's good. That she'll be able to cook delicacies for you. Healthy stuff, I'm not talking of junks. So that is very, very important. Some men, they are not sad that, I would say civilized in quote. They love eating only eba in the morning, eba in the afternoon. And their wife is ready to 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 to, to dress their table with all kinds of delicacies, fresh food. So it's always good. So eat healthily, eat good food, fresh food, please. Fresh food is more important than junks and sweet nothings. Then the issue of the outings, most of us are used to going out now. Pandemic has come, lockdown has come, you are forced to stay at home. Yes, learn to stay at home, please. Because that's your primary assignment before Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah. Learn to stay at home, spend time with your wife. Even when you're just sitting down there talking, what is the fact that you chat, you laugh, you smile, you play, you play around in the house. It's good for the family. Let the children see that it positively affects the children. When they see their parents running, and scatter, throwing the pushing on one another, the pillow on one another, it's good. We should be having our homes like this. It's good. And then you have enough time this time around to achieve that. It promotes love between the two of you. It brings you together. It makes both of you now to rediscover your love for one another. It's very important. Then the efficiency of home management. Sometimes some husbands are very petty. When I say petty, I'm not saying petty in negative terms. They are so petty that little things that may go wrong in the setting of the home can put them away, can make them to be annoyed. Maybe the bed, the wife just left the bed and she did not dress the bed, and the man just came in and found the bed not well kept. Some men can go mad at their wives for that. So the wife too must appreciate that. And it could be vice versa. It could be the wife that is so, this is where we put the table, this is where the chairs are, this is where we put plates, this is where we put spoon. Don't put it elsewhere. So this can also, so we can use this period of pandemic now to get to understand one another. How do we want the home to look like? You understand? What setting do we like? And I want to advise men that you let your wife take the lead in that. Women own the house. So let them have their way in terms of the dressings, the decorations you want to have in the place. So these two can cause, and you must respect what your wife has done. Don't scatter it. Don't scatter the bed. Don't just leave the towel on the bed. Try as soon as possible to make sure that you keep your home. I have seen wives that said, what is driving me crazy about my husband is when he goes into the bathroom, ladder are split all over the walls of the bathroom, that my husband will not clean. Use water to clean up the ladder of the soap that fills the whole bathroom. So let's try and study and respect one another in this regard. Then extravagance. Some women are better managers of money than even their husbands. So how do you manage your money? Some women are better managers than some women. Some women are not good at it at all. They spend on what are not necessary. And before the month ends, the husband is a salary earner, the family is already down in debt. So please, let us use this period of pandemic to work this out. Every home must have a budget. You must have a budget. If a nation does not have a budget, you can imagine what that would be. It means there's no limit. But if you are a salary earner, you must have a budget for everything. And your wife too must support you. Because Allah says, Inna Allah wa kulu wa sharabu wa la tusrifu. Inna Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. And eat and drink. Don't engage in extravagance. For Allah loves not those who are wasteful. Don't be wasteful. Then excessive envy. Please, don't allow envy to destroy our marriages. It could be husband, it could be wife. I don't think it is advisable for couples to be checking each other's phones. Who is my husband calling? Who is calling him? Or who is my wife calling? Who is calling her? I don't think this is necessary. This will be helpful in the relationship. Except what my wife shows me in her phone, that's what I look. Apart from that, I don't carry her phones. Except she says, carry it for me. And the same thing too, she too should not carry my phone. Except I say, carry it for me. We should trust and respect ourselves. This should not cause itches in our marriages. Then, Our advisors, many of us have advisors that advise us about our wives, about our husbands. Please don't go for bad advisors. Make sure you have good advisors. And then communications. When we have issues, how long does it take for us to make up between ourselves? I think it shouldn't last beyond 3 days and 3 nights. Let he who wants to be rewarded more by Allah, let him be the first to go to the other person. Call your wife, my wife, what is happening between us? I don't like this. What have I done? What have I done to annoy you? Okay, I'm sorry. Say sorry. But it doesn't take anything away from you. You have to another time if you say sorry. Sorry can be a lot of good in our marriages. Let's let it. Sorry, thank you, please. All these things are very good. The issue of sexual intercourse, you agree that we've had that men demand for sex or women demand for sex during this pandemic has increased. Yes, I just think what we just need to do is to sit down and agree and decide. Whoever is weak, if you need to take some, you need to take some herbs. You need to eat some food. Please eat it. We have to eat because what we eat most of the time. So we must be able to sort that aspect, because if that aspect is lacking, no matter how much money you give your wife, no matter how fatherly role you play in the house, if it is excluding that aspect, I tell you, you have not performed anything. Ditto for the wife, no matter how best cook you are, if you cannot satisfy your husband sexually, you have not yet done anything. You have to include that. If you're having challenges, go to the doctor and seek for medical care. It is the lubrication for the marriage. You must be doing it regularly at regular intervals. You must decide your own interval. Should we be doing it every day, morning and night, or should we be doing it in the afternoon? Should we be doing it only in the morning or only at night? Should we be doing it once every other day? Should we be doing it once in a week? You have to decide. And if your home is not conducive for you to be doing it as at when you like, there's nothing wrong with you going to a hotel. So you and your wife, you can go to a hotel and have the time off to yourself. You can go on holiday. Islam is not against you going on holiday. You have to bring spice to your marriage. You have to invest in it. Because this is where you will end up. Eventually, you will retire. When you retire and you have not created a very strong bond with your wife, you're going to have issues. So let your children be aware that, the love between our parents, wow, alhamdulillah. So you have to invest really in your marriage. All the friends you will follow up every time you go outside, they will leave you. By the time you retire, and you will be left to your marriage. So how you have to now start preparing a good soft landing for yourself when you eventually have to be at home. Then the issue of scuffles in the home front. Now you are not able to see the weaknesses of your wife. You are not able to see the weaknesses of your family, courtesy of the pandemic. Now spouse bashing, flogging, boxing in the home front. Please, for us as Muslims, we should never bash or flog our wives. We should be tolerant. If you cannot cope with a tongue, go outside, please. Go into the mosque and be doing that. Go into the mosque and be pulling your rosary. That's the full light to Allah. You understand? Perform ablution. See, I was with them. She told him, go out of the house. Rather than stay in the house and now be throwing punches. Please. Let's have what we call emotional intelligence. You are now seeing many things you are not used to saying. Yes, please, this is your house. This is your worldly paradise. Make the best use of it. Then lack of personal hygiene of either of the spouses. Now, before we are married, we tend to take care of our looks. We tend to take care of our bodies. We always want to appear smart. Please, this should not end with after marriage. After the first child or the second child, the lady should be taking care of our looks, our body, our physique. Ditto the man too. Take care of yourself, of your face, your beard, your everything. You see, one thing couples will not tell one another is your mouth is smelling. But so before, so I will not even allow my wife to 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 smell my mouth smelling before I would have taken care. That I know some couples that when it is time for to make love with their wife, the first thing, the sign that the man will give to the wife that I am ready for sex is he goes and be brushing his teeth. Take permission, tell the wife I'm going to brush my teeth in the bathroom. So it's a sign to the wife that look, when I come back, we are going to start to play. That's it. So because you must make sure, and then you apply perfume. You must have perfume in your house. You must have perfume in the house so that both of you are smelling good odor, and this will draw you to yourself. The wife should be spending using perfume for her husband in the house, not outside, so that your husband can easily hold you. I mean, try to embrace you and be closer to you. This is very, very important. Some of us don't do it. You should be doing it. Then you have wives who are very sharp tongue. When the husband says one, they will say 10. No, please. This is not good. The wife is an extrovert. The husband is an introvert. Yes, it can happen. But please, it should not be too much. Guide your tongue, because everything you say on Yamal Kiamo, you are going to account for it before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So please, don't lose your tongue. Don't say what will cause you the punishment of Allah on Yamal Kiamo. You know? The Prophet said, Montano Yumi Bidagwa Yumi Lahir, Ayakul Khairan Auli Yasmut. If you believe in Allah the last day, speak what is good or keep quiet. Don't use bad words to your wife. Don't use abusive words on your husband. Don't denigrate your husband in the presence of the children. Let your husband always have the way in the presence of your children. That what your father wants, I will do what your father wants. By the time you tell your children this, you are passing a very strong message to them that the husband is the head of the house and the wife must. Should not ask it. Women should not be visiting occultists or stargazers. You know, it's not Islamic. We should be visiting stargazers. We should do istihara, you know, which is halal. Rasulullah Islam permitted that. Then, who are our mentors in our family? We should make sure we have good mentors. Those that will be going to report one another to. We should not be reporting ourselves to those that will bring about chaos in our family. Both of us must agree on the name that will be going to report the person. We must agree on that person because you need outsiders sometimes to advise you. People who have fear of Allah, people who are intelligent, people who are exposed.
It appears we've lost our guest speaker. I think it's a technical problem from his end. He appears freeze now. Oh, okay. Firstly, before we continue, I want to turn this to a discussion forum. Can I ask those who are listening with their kids to excuse them because I guess there could be some questions that might not be appropriate for kids at this point. There might be some issues that will not be appropriate for kids. Can I ask those who have their kids either watching with them to excuse them at this point, so that we could have adult talk if there are issues around that. Okay, the floor is open now for those who have comments, questions, or issues they want to raise on the topic so far while our guest speaker is trying to reconnect with us. Can I ask Dr. Oloko MKO to perhaps say something on some of the issues he raised yesterday, if you want to talk on that? Dr. Oloko.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Yes, thank you very much. Part of the issues I raised yesterday, it was part of them has been addressed by the speaker um, regarding spouses. I raised some issues regarding financial requirements or financial demand, or should I say, reduction in income because of this COVID pandemic across boards, and how couples can cope with it. I also raised the issue regarding tendency of high sexual demand this period, which um, is apparently on the increase across boards as well. We see it apparent, we see it everywhere. As medical personnel, we see the result in the hospital. Um, People that have not been pregnant for the last 10 years coming back in a week with pregnancy now. People that have hands off and on their breast are coming back with pregnancy now. People that have been told not to get pregnant again are coming back with pregnancy for health reason. I mean, are coming back with pregnancy now. So obviously there is, and we see conflicts regarding sexual demand as well. As bad as being on social media, as bad as being in videos by neighbors. So that is it's a genuine, and in Muslim home as well. We also see the conflict based primarily on that. Um, because he's at home now, is not exerting his energy at work or on the road or on that work he does before. His demand is excessive on me. How am I going to cope? I'm not coping. And you get likewise as well, from the female too, we've seen many cases where the demand is there and he's not performing as well. So he has actually spoke on that a bit as well. So that's another form of conflict. So on the pregnancy issue, you may want to speak more on that. I think he hasn't talked about that. That's something we also need to sit down and agree. With the reducing income, is a child best at this period? If the child is not best at this period, and can we now say we're not going to I mean, we're not going to meet each other? If we have to meet and we don't want a child, what do we do at this period of time? So that's one or two things that you may want to touch in before he finishes his lecture. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam to Allah, barakatuh. Jazakallah khair. So I've
Invite
unmuted.
anyone to come and speak.
I have to move on now. Okay, so if you have something to say, can you signify by raising up your hand, or you just if I have unmuted you, can you just speak out, please? Can I call on any of the female participants, our sisters? You want to say something on some of the issues raised by our speaker before we lost him? Okay. Okay. Uh, Anyone want to say something on some of the issues raised? Anyone? Okay. Mr. Chairman, do you want to give a closing remark at this point? Okay, I think Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf is back. He's trying to rejoin us now. Just give me a few seconds. Dr. Tajuddin, you are.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam to Allah barakatuh. So you should be rounding off now, I guess.
Are there questions?
We're having a discussion on some of the issues you raised while waiting for you to come back and round off your talk.
Okay.
So is there any other thing you want to say?
I just want to say that our couples should try as much as possible to go on holidays. When the pandemic goes, let us create time to be with our wives, with our kids, alone, outside the home. We explore. That's how our relationship will be promoted and enhanced, inshallah. So that's the last thing I want to add in order to make our family to work, whether no pandemic, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam to Allah barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khair. So that is the concluding part of the concluding statement of the lecture. At this point now, can I ask if anybody has a question or two you want to ask Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf? So feel free to ask your question. Now you can type them in or you can just speak on if you have any questions. While we are waiting for questions, I will ask Professor Ibrahim Oreagba to prepare to give a closing remark on today's conversation. Any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Speaker, Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf. We've had many cases where people have said that the world will never be the same again. That the world will never be the same again after this COVID. Really, people look at it from different perspectives. Some say social distancing, some say, as Muslims, how do we look at it? Um, Being that a lot of our activities, Islamic activities, particularly joint ibadah, have been affected. How can we assimilate or understand that the world will never be the same again? Do we believe that, or can we adjust if it's true? Thank you.
Uh, Doctor, maybe you will stop using video if the bandwidth is low. Dr. Tajuddin, if you are hearing me, maybe you stop using video at this point. We lost him. Okay, there's another issue raised. Going forward after.
Hello, I'm listening.
Okay, excellent. Do you want to respond to that question, please?
Hello?
Hello, Stars. Dr. Tajuddin.
Hello?
Hello, we are hearing you.
Hello?
Hello, we are with you. Dr.
Hello?
Tajuddin. Hello, we are with you. We are hearing you clearly.
Hello?
We are with you. We are hearing you. Uh, it appears The technical issue is still there. Okay, does anyone want to respond to that question raised by Dr. Oloko? Going forward, what do we? How should the Muslim community, as Muslims, how should we prepare for what has been called a new normal going forward after the corona virus pandemic that is of the whole world now? Going forward, how should our masajid prepare to look like? How should the home look like, and our ibadat that we do in congregation, like our salawats, considering how clean, quote and unquote, our masajids are in Nigeria generally. So I think those are some of the underlying issues Dr. Oloko raised. Do you have anyone among the participants that want to say something on that?
All right, Bismillah, can I say something?
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I think starting point will be that whatever is happening now has happened in the past in history. So when you read through history, you'll find out there's been different epidemics, pandemics, even ravaging the Muslim lands, and eventually things will return back to normalcy. So that's it over time. So I think the starting point is that wherever we are within that timeline, we should prepare ourselves accordingly. What do I mean? So for instance, now we are getting out of lockdown. Doesn't mean that we're going to throw all cautions into the wind. Rather, we're going to adjust our lifestyles and our hygiene to respond to the threats that we face. So today now you'll find out in the workplaces now, everybody, I think there's only a regulation in Lagos in that state now that all workplaces you must have wash hand basins where people will do some sanitation before they enter the workplace. You're talking about different organizations have different response plans depending on how they see the epidemic or the stage of the epidemic. So some are in red, amber, green. So in the red states, then it's total lockdown. Amber, there will be rules on social distancing, on how you get along and how you're going to interact. So basically the occupancy or the workspace environment will be moderated. And the same is also going to apply to the masajids. So that's my own take on it. I think when you look at history, and there was even a time when the cities were shut down, and eventually things picked up after the threats were under control. So I don't think it's an end state thing. I think it's just, it's just like the life cycle. There are ups and downs, and with time things will normalize. Now it may not normalize in your lifetime, not normalize in my lifetime. Who cares? But over time it will normalize. That's the point I'm trying to make. However, as professionals, what should we do? We should be responsive, and we should take all advice with the attention it deserves. See, what I've noticed is that some people are taking this thing with levity, and they're not being, or they think it's a fluke or it's a joke. Meanwhile, the damage it's causing the society is huge. So I just think that for those things that have been raised, we should take advice based on the timeline in that life history of the disease or the pandemic, and then respond accordingly. So like now, it's Ramadan, everybody's been told to stay at home, pray at home, possibly no Eid, possibly no Umrah, no Hajj and stuff like that. Hey, that's the timeline, that's what requires. With time, when these things are under control, then you will move to the next stage and you evolve with it. Assalamu alaikum to the
Jazakumullah khairan for the contribution. Dr. Tajuddin, have you got something to say? Are you back now fully with us? I doubt. Any other comments from participants on the issue raised or on any other issue? Okay, at this point, I would like to call on Professor Ibrahim Oriagba to give us a closing remark on the issue. Then thereafter, the Chairman Board of Trustee of the Guild of Muslim Professionals is going to give a vote of thanks for everyone. But before I call on the two of them, can I quickly remind our brothers and sisters, as you are exiting for this webinar, there's going to be, you'll see a survey that we want to ask you to please help complete. It's not going to take more than 2 minutes to do so. Some people have completed it yesterday. It's going to help us to improve going forward on programs like this. Jazakallah khair. Professor Reagba, please.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam to
the opportunity. I joined in rather late, but the little that I was able to get from the presentation is something that is quite useful, and I can imagine what has transpired, in the last 1 hour. I want to congratulate the organizers of this meeting, and I would also want to stress that talk and lectures on family matters is very, 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 very important, especially in this situation that we are in, where the families are together, the bonding is even more, and there's opportunity for communication between the spouses, the parents, and the children. You're able to know yourself better. So it's really timely, and I would believe that probably in the not too distant future, we should be having another similar talk on family matters. One other thing I would quickly like to mention is that COVID-19 will still be with us for the next 6 to 9 months, whether we like it or not. This is from an informed perspective. And therefore, we all need to stay safe. We all need not to drop our guard. We need to continue to do the needful in terms of infection, prevention, and control. Very, very important. All the things that we have been told to do by the government, we should adhere to it, and then inform others, because many people are still ignorant, either deliberately or not, about this particular situation. And we all pray that it goes on time and that it doesn't cause more morbidity and mortality. May Almighty Allah continue to be with us all and make the presentation useful for us individually and collectively. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan. So, Mr. Hakim Oyewale. Mr. Oyewale, vote of thanks, please. Are you there? Mr. Oyewale. Okay, it appears he's not there with us now. So on behalf of the Guild of Muslim Professionals, we want to thank first and foremost all our guest speakers who have put in a tremendous effort to be with us over the last 3 weekends in Ramadan. I want to specifically thank Dr. Tajuddin Yusuf, who has been with us since yesterday and is here with us today, despite all the difficulty. He kept joining back. I think he's still with us now. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all our guest speakers abundantly. And to all of us that have also joined from different parts of the world, we've had people from Australia, from United Kingdom, from America, from the greatest country in the world, Nigeria, that have joined the Guild of Muslim Professionals for this year Ramadan Tafsir. It's just an initiative. It's not part of our regular program. We just felt that we need to give something to Muslim professionals at this time that we are locked down at home. We will be unable to attend the usual face-to-face tafsir that we are used to in our respective homes. And that's why we have created this place. And we have also created a survey that if you can place help complete is going to help us moving forward. We've had some very interesting feedbacks for those who completed the questionnaire yesterday. We want to once again implore those of us that are here to please, for Allah's sake, help complete that survey. It's not going to take more than 2 minutes to do, inshallah. So we thank everyone for coming. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us all for the money we have spent on our data, the time we have spent doing here, and for other things we forgo to be here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put all our effort, crown all our effort with Jannatul Firdaus, accept our fasting, accept our ibadah, accept all our effort as act of ibadah. Can I call on Dr. Mufti Tahir to give closing prayer for this session, inshallah? Dr. Mufti Muhyiddin Tahir.
We really thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has made it possible to commence for the last 3 weeks. And alhamdulillah, we have made it, and we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put his barakah and equally to reward everyone for us. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue guiding us and make progress for the good of Muslim professionals. Pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wherever our brothers and our sisters are, to protect them, provide for them, and make it easy. And the unification and the protection of this period of pandemic, we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to shower his blessing on us. Wal asr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat. Wa tawassaw bil haqq. Wa tawassaw bil sabr.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون السلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. Dr. Tajide.
Professor Adelopo, báwo ni o? Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam. I'm not sure there's Professor Adelopo here.
Bravo.
What we have is Abigeni Adelopo. I want to end this meeting now because we are live on YouTube. All other personal conversations can take place outside this forum, please. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.